Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the All-CAW Wrestling podcast type thing. Just a few days we're recording this after the death of Leonard Nimoy. Just wanted to say, I was never really sort of like a Star Trek fan, but obviously I do know Nimoy from being the voice of Galvatron in Transformers the movie, and it was a nice little thing seeing Nimoy turning up in those last couple of Star Trek movies. Obviously, the stuff that he's done has made a huge amount of difference to people, so we just want to send our respects to Leonard Nimoy and his family. So he will be sorely missed. Someone now needs to go out and find the Genesis planet. Is all I can say to that. So today we are delving into the WWE Network once again. It's January the 24th, 1988, and we are live for the first ever Royal Rumble in WWF history.
Woo!
I'm joined here at the podcasting table by...
The little Daddy Air.
Hello there. Hello there. Now then, the Royal Rumble, the first ever Royal Rumble, was actually the first time I watched this on the network, as it wasn't a pay-per-view, and it instead aired on the USA Network as a television special. It also meant that this particular Rumble was never released on Coliseum home video or on DVD, so this is the first time that we're seeing it. Well, for me anyway. Do you guys have any particular Royal Rumbles that stand out for you as being memorable? Do you have like a favourite Royal Rumble at all?
I'm not that great at remembering all the Royal Rumbles.
Well, that's fair enough. What about you, little Martini? Do you have any particular favourite Royal Rumbles?
I'd say... last year's?
Only because it was last year's. My memory probably goes back further than yours. I would have to say 92 Royal Rumble was probably one of the best Rumbles of all time. It's the one that Flair won to win the belt. It was a fantastic Rumble. Royal Rumble 99 was also a very good one as well. Vince McMahon won that. Him and Austin started out as number 1 and 2. And I think Royal Rumble 2000 deserves a mention as well, mainly because of that street fight between Cactus Jack and Triple H. And also because Mae Young got her knocks out.
Hey, have you even seen the 16th century most Royal Rumbles ever?
Most Royal Rumbles ever?
Yeah, look, best Royal Rumbles. Garrett's kings chop each other's heads off.
Oh, okay. Literally a Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I see what you've done there.
It's not very good, I just came up with it.
Anyway, the reason why this show came about was because the National Wrestling Alliance was holding their second pay-per-view, Bunkhouse Stampede, on the same night. And Vince McMahon wanted to challenge the competition, much like he did when airing the very first Survivor Series against the NWA's first ever pay-per-view, Starrcade 87.
Wait, Bunkhouse Stampede?
Bunkhouse...
Bunkhouse Stampede.
Bunkhouse Stampede, that's right.
Bunkhouse doesn't sound very threatening, does it?
Well, there you go. So, yes, Vince McMahon wanted to put a new show, Royal Rumble, up against Bunkhouse Stampede and ensure that one event had a great rating whilst the other had a lousy buy rate. You could probably guess which was which. Can you guess which was which?
Oh, I wonder if it was NWA.
No. Well, you'll be thankfully, guys. I'm not gonna let you sit through another NWA pay-per-view because I know that Starrcade 87 was enough for you.
Yay!
But these are the results from Bunkhouse Stampede 88. We're not going to sort of review it as such. We'll just quickly go over the results. So, Sting and Jimmy Garvin defeated the Sheepherders by disqualification. The Sheepherders are Butch Miller and Luke Williams. They'd actually become better known as the Bushwhackers when they'd come over to WWE much later on there. And of course,
probably a better name than the Sheepherders.
And the Bushwhackers are now going to be inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame this year.
Along with Randy Savage.
Sting and Jimmy Garvin, they're obviously keeping those two together as a team since Starrcade. Sting is already massively over with the fans. Other matches, Nikita Koloff fought Bobby Eaton with Jim Cornette to a time limit draw.
Oh yes. My God, Bobby's been eaten.
Another time limit draw. NWA were fond of those. Larry Zbyszko with Baby Doll defeated Barry Windham. That was a singles match for the UWF Western States Championship, so they've still got the UWF belts knocking about. Road Warrior Hawk with Paul Ellering defeated Ric Flair with James Dillon by disqualification. That was a singles match for the NWA World Heavyweight title. Unusual seeing Road Warrior Hawk fighting on his own here.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider that Road Warrior Animal is in the next match. Now, this is a steel cage bunkhouse stampede match. Basically, it's 9 blokes all inside a steel cage trying to beat the shit out of each other.
Huh.
And you've got to eliminate them by sending them out of the cage.
Wait, does that not defeat the point of a steel cage?
It does, doesn't it? It's like, right, we've got to throw them out of the ring, but there's a steel cage stopping them from throwing you out of the ring. So it's kind of like a Royal Rumble crossed with a steel cage.
So you kind of have to, like, nudge them over the top. It's
Well,
like, I don't want to go over the top. You get over that
You've
top.
either got to fling them out the door, or you've got to fling them up over the top of the cage. But it's like, well, if that was the case then, what, you wouldn't even climb up the cage, would you?
No.
But there's people quite actively climbing up the cage so they can get thrown out again. It's like, why?
What?
Right, so the participants in this Bunkhouse Stampede are Dusty Rhodes, Arn Anderson, the Barbarian, Tully Blanchard, Ivan Koloff, Lex Luger, Road Warrior Animal, and the Warlord. Now, considering who's doing the booking for the NWA at the time, who do you think won that match?
Oh, I wonder if it's one of the upcoming new and fresh talent. No, it was Dusty Rhodes.
That's right, Dusty Rhodes once again booked himself to win. This is like the 3rd Bunkhouse Stampede cage match in a row that he's won, apparently. So it's not really that exciting when you're booking yourself to be the winner.
Against 8 other guys, all who are, which, to be frank, better wrestlers.
The only thing that's memorable about this card is the sheer number of names that be jumping across to the WWF within the next few years or so. So you've got the Sheep Herders going over. You've got the Road Warriors who will go over at some point. You've got even Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard will go over at one point. They've obviously got fed up of it.
Lex Luger
will go over.
Ivan and Nikita Koloff.
No, I don't think they do, to be honest.
I thought they were...
But you do get the Barbarian and the Warlord going over at roughly the same time because they become the Powers of Pain. So, yeah, that was Bunkhouse Stampede 88. Again, you're not really missing anything. Like Stark 87, you've got, like, really bad lighting and camera, you know, like a bad ECW show, you know.
Like someone had filmed it on a potato.
Yes, indeed. So, let's go on to the main part of this podcast, which is talking about the Raw Rumble itself. Now, we've got Vince McMahon and Jesse Ventura providing commentary on their only Rumble together. I should say this is the first time we're seeing Vince on commentary since WrestleMania 2. But then again, this isn't a pay-per-view, so I suppose that doesn't count. I definitely prefer Gorilla teaming up with Ventura as opposed to Vince. Mainly because Vince doesn't always know the names for some of the moves he's calling, and instead he just says,
"What a maneuver!"
all the time. Him and Jesse don't exactly get along either. Oh, there is one move that Vince McMahon knows the name for. What's that?
Back body drop.
That's right.
Back body drop.
So our opening match is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Ravishing Rick Rude. Now, although this looks like an excellent match on paper, Rude is still pretty green around the gills at this point, and the NWA have been in touch with Steamboat with the promise of him getting to work with Ric Flair again. Considering that the WWF hasn't really done anything with the Dragon since he dropped the IC title to the Honky Tonk Man in June of '87, you can't really blame Steamboat for not exactly being motivated for this particular match. After nearly 20 minutes, Steamboat gets the disqualification win after Rude does the old pull the referee in the way of the babyface charge tactic. Nothing exactly special here, but it's still a damn sight better than the segment that follows afterwards, as Dino Bravo attempts to set the world bench press record of £705. And it's not just a short segment either. Oh no. This bloody thing goes on for about 15 minutes.
Oh God.
As Bravo builds up to the record breaker with smaller benches at increasing amounts of weight, before eventually breaking the record with a little dubious amount of help from Jesse Ventura, who was spotting him here. The audience quickly get bored of this segment and start booing, not because they dislike Dino Bravo, but because they're getting bored shitless.
I mean, seriously. We came to see wrestling, not to see this asshole bench press for 15 minutes.
No. Even Ventura couldn't really save this segment. Luckily, it's easy enough to fast forward the entire thing on the WWE network.
For an undisclosed monthly sum.
Yes.
God damn, Michael Cole never tells us about the monthly sub. Michael Cole talks about the wrestling too much. He should talk more about the app. I don't know how to download the app.
I agree. So next up, and here's the match I've been looking forward to, it's the Glamour Girls defending their women's tag team titles against the Jumping Bomb Angels in a 2 out of 3 falls match. In our last podcast show, the Angels had eliminated both of the Glamour Girls from the women's match of survival at the first ever Survivor Series. And now the Angels rightfully get their title shot.
Ooh.
Like the exchanges between the two teams at the Survivor Series, the Glamour Girls are bending the rules in this match, utilising dirty tactics and brawling with the much smaller Angels, whilst the Angels are dazzling their opponents with a number of then unheard of technical and high-flying manoeuvres, for women's wrestling in America anyway. The Glamours get the first fall on a face buster. The Angels take the second on a cradle that countered a repeated attempt at the face buster.
Continuity.
And fall 3 goes to the Angels on a double drop kick on Leilani Kai. Go on, I can't pronounce her name.
Leilani Kai.
Leilani Kai.
You spelt it wrong there.
Damn it.
The script is wrong.
The fans loved the Angels, and deservingly so. The Angels would hold on to the titles before they would lose them to the Glamour Girls a few months later on June 8th, 1988 at a show in Japan. The Glamours then kept hold of the titles until the championship was officially retired on February 14th, 1989. On January the 5th, 2012, WWE.com ran an article supporting bringing the title back. Considering the amount of female talent currently on NXT, this could easily be done again.
Probably.
I mean, let's think of some female tag teams straight off the bat. Paige and Natalya. Paige and Emma. Paige and Summer Rae even, having that sort of odd dynamic between the two.
Just have anyone with Paige.
The Bella Twins as a tag team.
They don't look like twins anymore.
Yeah, considering one of them's had some enhancements done, and by enhancements, of course, I mean tattoos.
And by enhancements, oh yeah.
So, next up is the main event. What is the main event, do you think, at the Royal Rumble?
The Royal Rumble.
No, it's not. It's not even a world title match, but it's a contract signing for a world title match between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant.
That's a match.
Well, that's your main event.
Your main event is someone signing a contract.
Basically, yes.
What?
So we're going to have a rematch between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. It's a rematch from WrestleMania 3, and it's set to take place 12 days later on the main event.
Wait, so it's just like, hey guys, want to see this match? Yeah, well, tough, you don't. So
Okay. Now, you might roll your eyes over a contract signing on a major event like this, but bear in mind, there was no Monday Night Raw back then, and this isn't a pay-per-view, it's a television special. And since it was 1988, the idea of a contract signing was still relatively fresh. Andre comes out wearing one of his usual big and tall suits that he's obviously had custom made for him, whilst Hulk Hogan's wearing a white tank top, tight blue jeans and cowboy boots.
Meanwhile, a young Kim Kardashian is sat taking fashion notes.
Andre gets sick of Hogan and his tight blue jeans, so he smashes Hogan's face into the table and then tips the table over on top of him, which is standard contract signing protocol, I guess. I do it all the time at work.
I thought the Hulk Hogan colours was red and yellow and not blue.
Well, he comes out here wearing his tight blue jeans and his
What if contract signings works like that in real life?
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
It's like, all right, we're going to sign you to be a wrestler. Great, that's absolutely great. All right, here's the contract.
I'd quite like to see that in football. You know what I mean? Where you start to get all right. LA Galaxy signed David Beckham to like a 7-year deal, and it's like, oh, brilliant. So Beckham signs the contract and then power bombs someone through the table. That'd be fantastic.
No, Beckham would give him an RKO. 1, he's tattooed, and 2, he's really skinny.
Like Randy Orton. Okay, fair enough.
Randy Orton versus David Beckham.
Yeah, it's standard contract signing protocol. The bad guy has to use the table at some point as a weapon. Hey, I don't make the rules, okay?
Or it could be Wade Barrett versus Wayne Rooney.
The payoff was to have Ted DiBiase buy the title from Andre, assuming Andre won, and become the champion himself. And they did that using the dreaded evil Hebner twin trick.
Oh no, not the evil Hebner twin.
So, it's now time for the first Royal Rumble match ever, and it's only 20 participants. We didn't get to that magic 30 number until later. So, we're going to quickly run through this. So, Bret Hart and Tito Santana are 1 and 2 respectively. Good choices. Nice bit of wrestling to start off with. This then leads to Butch Reed coming in at number 3. Jim Neidhart then comes out at number 4, which leads to a 3-on-1 on Santana. Until Jake Roberts comes out at number 5, dumping Reed out of the ring. Harley Race comes in at 6, just because the ring needed a testosterone dose with the Hart's pink outfits girling things up. That's then followed by Jim Brunzell, then Sam Houston, then Dangerous Danny Davis. That's like an enhancement talent list for the following year. Maybe it's a good thing this show wasn't on pay-per-view. Anyway, the Harts get rid of Santana, and the credibility level is sinking. But have no fear, because Zangief from Street Fighter's coming out at number 10. Oh, hang on, no, it's Boris Zukov. Now it's time to play my new favourite game show.
Can Bret Hart carry 7 guys?
Here's a weird moment as Don Muraco and Nikolai Volkov start fighting over the number 11 slot. The implication is that Volkov wants to get in there and help his partner. But it's moot because Zukov gets dumped by Roberts and Brunzell. I think I actually willed at my TV for Zukov to go. And then Volkov finally comes in at number 12. Then Hacksaw Jim Duggan comes in at 13, but not before Race gets tossed.
Oh, bye.
Oh, give over. After Duggan scrums with Race for a bit in the aisle, Ron Bass is number 14. Volkov tosses Brunzell before partner Brian Blair can get there at 15. Oh, if only the Iron Sheik was there. All the jokes I could make. Oh well.
Oh, I get it.
Hillbilly Jim's in at number 16, and he tosses out Neidhart. If you'd have told Neidhart in 1988 that he would become a raging junkie who would get arrested in 2010 whilst his daughter would become a work-rate goddess, what do you think the Anvil's reaction would have been? He probably would have just gone, yeah, baby, and stroked his beard a lot, but never mind. Bravo's in at number 17, ready to thin the ring out, just as he thinned out the viewers early with his epic weightlifting performance. Sam Houston's out next, and that's followed by the Ultimate Warrior in at number 18. Bret's gone at the 25-minute mark, and then the one-man gang comes in at number 19, who then mauls through Blair and Roberts. And then finally, JYD is in at number 20 with 10 men in the ring. So the final 10, Gang, JYD, Bravo, Warrior, Duggan, Davis, Bass, Hillbilly, Volkov and Muraco.
Who's going to go to WrestleMania?
To lose to Ted DiBiase in a tournament match.
Oh.
From there, Duggan dumps Volkov before they made him a reformed American.
America.
Yes, really. Gang chucks Hillbilly. Duggan does Davis dirty. God, that's awful. Bravo and Gang show the Warrior that teaming makes the world work. Sorry, couldn't help it. Bass eliminates Dog in a pretty crap fashion.
Oh, I get it.
Muraco tosses Bass, and your final four are Duggan, Muraco, Bravo, and the Gang. Weird double team by Bravo and Gang causes Muraco to go, but the same attempt fails on Duggan. Duggan eliminates Bravo in short order, and then manages to throw out the Gang to win the first ever Royal Rumble. The crowd is happy. So am I, because this match is now over. What did we think of that first Royal Rumble match?
It
was mostly Bret Hart carrying a load of people.
It was, yes. What did you think on that, I know?
It was pretty boring.
See, the gimmicks there, the idea of the Royal Rumble is a heck of a lot better than the Bunkhouse Stampede steel cage match, you know. It's the same premise, you've got to throw people out the ring to win, but the difference is, with the Bunkhouse Stampede, you've got a bloody steel cage getting in the way, you know. But obviously, the premise was a good one, which is why the Royal Rumble continues to this day. Okay, so we're back, and now it's time for the main event. Well, the last match of the evening. You thought
You think the Royal Rumble will be the main event?
You would have thought the Royal Rumble would be the main event, but no, the main event is Hogan and Andre signing a piece of paper.
What?
And the Rumble's not even the last match of the night. The last match of the night is the Islanders versus the Young Stallions. Yeah, really, this was your main event. This was back in the days of Saturday Night's main event, where a crap match would go on last just to kill time. Thank God things have changed. So nothing of note happens until Paul Roma gets counted out after busting his knee on the floor to end the first fall, and then Roma submits to a half crab for the second fall. Wow, gripping stuff. Their feud at Survivor Series was better, mainly because that match featured 8 other tag teams. Hey, I like Haku, alright? He is genuinely one of the toughest guys on the roster. In fact, he is that tough. Let's have a Haku fact in honour of Chuck Norris, in like a Chuck Norris thing.
Alright, give me a second.
I've put you on the spot there, haven't I?
Yeah.
Well, Haku is generally believed to be one of the toughest guys ever to have competed in wrestling. I mean, even other legitimate tough guys like Arn Anderson have said, yeah, Haku's a badass.
Haku was threw a grenade and killed 50 people. Then the grenade exploded.
Jake Roberts once infamously said on one of his shooting interviews, he says, if I was in a tank and I had a gun in my hand and I saw Haku coming towards me, he says the first thing I would do was actually get out of the tank and shoot myself because I wouldn't want to get Haku pissed off at me.
Just airdrop Haku into battlefields.
Yeah, and he'll just take care of everything.
It's like everyone's just like, nope.
Haku is going to be like the latest airstrike thing in the next Call of Duty game.
My God,
Awesome.
My God, what if Chuck Norris and Haku perform the fusion technique? It'd be unstoppable.
The earth would just crack down the middle. So yeah, I like Haku. But come on, Paul Roma main evented the first Raw Rumble. I guess this gives him a rightful claim as one of the best horsemen ever, right? So in conclusion, it's a good thing that this show was on free TV. Although it did do what it was intended to do, which was to completely bury the buy rates for the NWA's Bunkhouse Stampede pay-per-view. It was just left completely dead in the water. So that was the main thing that the Royal Rumble set out to achieve, was to completely bury Bunkhouse Stampede. It did that, and of course, the only other thing that's memorable about it is that the Royal Rumble began a January tradition that still exists to this day. And it's not like the show is a load of rubbish or anything like that, but do be prepared to fast forward a lot, especially the Dino Bravo segment.
Oh God. Well, it's written down on paper, it looks like Dino Bravo. What if he was a dinosaur the entire time?
No, it is Dino Bravo, though it does look like Dino when you write it down.
Yeah.
Right, so we are done here for another edition of the podcast.
Podcasty typey thing.
Podcasty type thing. So, the show that comes after this, of course, you've got the main event where Andre beats Hogan for the title via the infamous Evil Hebner twin.
Evil Hebner twin.
That's it. Andre tries to sell the belt to DiBiase afterwards. Jack Tunney at this point steps in and disallows that. He declares the title vacant, which leads to the tournament at WrestleMania 4. So I guess that'll be the next podcast that we'll be doing.
But Vacant wasn't even in any of those matches. How could he have the title?
Vacant to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah, he's held the most titles ever.
So, for our next podcast then, we will likely take a look at WrestleMania 4, and I suppose if there's any NWA stuff floating around, we'll probably mention that at some point as well. But until next time, this is the Big Daddy D.
It's the Little Daddy Air.
And I would say the Little Natty New as well, but he's kind of buggered off now. So, we're signing out for another edition of the podcast, and we'll see you again another time. Goodbye.